and welcome back. We're moving on now to video 3 for week 12. So I'm hoping I'm not going to have any sudden pauses in video again. We are going to move to slide 20 now. So I'm looking at week 12, part 2. This is going to be a very, very short review from week 11. Essentially, I'm just trying to make certain that you managed to focus on what I was really trying to get you to pay attention to in week 11. So looking at slide 21, this is a very simple summary of what I want you to remember from week 11. So first of all, the most important point is we need adjectives, okay? And in English, you should be using 2 adjectives per noun, or when you're using verbs also, use adjectives. And adjectives describe, they give some beauty to your language. They also convey a message, so you can give a positive feeling or a negative feeling or just a neutral feeling to whomever is reading or listening to you. Adjectives, of course, as I just said, give excellent details about how you feel about the subject you are discussing. And this is our point. You really want to give that message to people. If you use really good adjectives as well, you really, really, really show your skill in English. So again, for each noun, also for your verbs, you should be using 1 or 2 adjectives for each of them. The most important point, I can't say it enough, when we're talking about adjectives, is use synonyms. Instead of using the same word over and over and over again, you should be able to, your vocabulary is immense. You all have amazing vocabularies. But remember, I don't see it just by looking at you or just by reading what you have written. You have to put the vocabulary in there for me to see that you have that ability. So please, please, please use those synonyms. Right, I'm going to stop you there. Killed you probably with part 1, so I'm hoping I'm not going to do too badly well, I guess we're part 3 now. But now I'm actually going to move on to part 3 of the PowerPoint. I'm just going to check, make sure my video is still going. It is. Excellent. So I'm moving on now to week 12, part 3. This is going to be continuing. So I've been talking about clear self-expression throughout the presentation, but I'm going to continue to do so. And also I'm really going to try to focus you on conclusion paragraphs, because conclusions are usually what students don't want to do, but you need to, because it's an end. So what we're going to do is move on to slide 23. Once again, I'm going to talk to you about this clear self-expression. So this is the same slide that I used at the beginning. It's really, really, really important for you to do these things. You need to check and make sure that you understand how to write a paragraph, because now we are moving up and you are now going to learn how to write an essay. Essays are much more complex, which means if you don't understand the basic principle of a paragraph, you're going to have a very hard time moving to the next level of essay writing. I've also noticed that quite a few students have been trying to move to essay level already, which I'm impressed by. But remember that the same as in any subject, you need to fully understand the basic blocks to build, whatever you want to make. So in the case of an essay, the basic block for an essay is a paragraph. So if you don't understand a paragraph, you are not going to understand how to make an essay. So once again, please, 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 if you are still writing in dialogue form, if you're still writing questions and answers, this is wrong, okay? You should, after 12 weeks, 11 I guess, because week 4 we didn't have a lecture, you really need to fix this, because I'm worried about your final tests, which means you need to go back and review. You need to check and make sure, this is what a paragraph is. Confirm that you have the correct idea. If you are not clear, contact me. Make sure you understand what a paragraph is, how to make a paragraph, and that is what you are doing for your homework assignments. Because as of now, I'm going to be taking points if you are not doing it correctly. Once again, if you're not clear, contact me. Don't be shy. I'm happy to help you. Also, if you want to meet, I'm happy to do that as well. Or if you want to do, a Zoom meeting, something like that, no problem. We can talk to each other on the phone as well. We can just video call. So to make sure that you are clear about this, I would also like you to write your email after you finish your essay this week, so that if I do have any problems, I can contact you directly and we can sort it out together. We can work together to fix that. So I'm going to move on to slide 24, and I hope you're not hungry because we're going to talk about Sundays again. The first and most important point, of course, is how to pronounce this word in English. So it's not Sunday, please be careful, totally different subject. In this case, we're talking about ice cream. If you don't like ice cream, I'm sorry, this is just an example, okay? It's just an example. So what I want to do first is I want to talk about a paragraph. So we're going to talk about an introduction paragraph. The introduction paragraph of an essay is a general topic. What we have been writing every week essentially are general topic introduction paragraphs, so that if you wanted to, you could progress and write an essay about any of the topics that we have discussed. But the most important point is for you to understand how to build a paragraph, how to make a paragraph. So we're going to take a look at this paragraph together. Read out loud with me, starting with the title. The Perfect Ice Cream Sundae. Ice cream sundaes are delicious. There are so many different ingredients that can be used to make the perfect ice cream sundae. It is always best to start with 3 different ice cream flavors. Some favorite flavors are chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. Next, sauces can be added. Ice cream connoisseurs may enjoy strawberry sauce on strawberry ice cream, chocolate sauce on chocolate ice cream, and marshmallow fluff on vanilla ice cream. As a final touch, add toppings. Chopped nuts and colorful sprinkles are a good combination. Before serving, don't forget to top with a cherry. Now, ideally, we'd have one more sentence at the end here because it's not perfect, but this was one of the better paragraphs that I could find for the structure that we're using. So, check. Now, we're going to look at this paragraph, and what I'd like you to check, because this is what you should be doing with your own work, is number 1, the title. Is there a title? So you can just answer yes or no. So we take a look together and answer yes or no. Is there a title? Yes. Is the title 6 words or less? Yes. Is the title about the topic generally? Yes. And notice that we're giving the feeling it's perfect. And we're talking about the subject, an ice cream sundae, all together in 5 little words. Okay? Next point. Do we have an indent? And if you don't remember what an indent is, review. Check. I'm not going to tell you, because if you can't remember, dang, you got it wrong. Next, do we have 2 introduction sentences? Let's see. Ice cream sundaes are delicious. There are so many different ingredients that can be used to make the perfect ice cream sundae. We do. What are we talking about? Ice cream sundae ingredients, and that they're delicious. So we have introduced our subject. Number 4, do we have 2 detail 1 sentences? Now remember that we can use transition words to mark these sentences if we wish, and we can also use transition words for markers in our paragraphs, right? To show first paragraph, second paragraph, and so on. So let's see. Oh, there's to start. So it is always best to start with 3 different ice cream flavors. Some favorite flavors are chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. Yes, there we are. We have our detail 1. What about detail 2? Can you find a transition word? What's the transition word? next. Very good. So we've got next, sauces can be added. What's our detail 2? Sauces. Good. And then they give some further examples of the sauces. Number 6. Do we have 2 detail 3 sentences? Let's see if we can find the transition word. Oh, final. As a final touch, add toppings. So what's detail 3? Toppings. And then they continue to describe some types of toppings. What about 2 conclusion sentences? And this is usually what students forget. Or you want to just get the job done, which I understand, and they just skip the conclusion sentences. But remember, the conclusion is 20% of your paragraph. So if you're missing 20%, that also means you're missing 20% of your points. So don't skip conclusions. Anyways, moving on. So even this person only wrote 1 sentence for their conclusion. They need 1 more for it to be ideal. Number 8. Did you notice the transition words? Good. They did use transition words, which is excellent. In this case, we're using it for the paragraph. You can also use this throughout your essay. You don't have to use 3 transition words for each paragraph, but definitely for 1 paragraph you need at least 1 transition word. Number 9. Are the transition words first, second, and third? No, so that means they're good. So remember, don't use first, second, and third as your 3 transition words. You could get away with using 1 of them, even 2 of them I would accept, but 1, 2, 3 is not, it's boring, it's elementary school level. I've said this enough. Moving on, I'm going to check my camera is working. Good. Yep, we're working fine. So I'm going to move on now to number 10. Number 10, we don't get words repeated. Now, in this case, we're talking about ice cream sundae, so we do have ice cream repeated, but I'm inclined to say that you have a hard time getting away from it. We've got ice cream sundae, that's it. So we've got 2. 2 I will accept, but once you get past 2, it starts to get tedious, boring, dull. So try your best to use synonyms wherever possible. I noticed in a lot of the assignments that I had she, or he, and even me repeating it like that, you can hear it doesn't sound right. So remember, you could use synonyms, use different ways to describe your partner. Some people didn't even tell me who their partner was. So start with their name. That's a really, really good way, because think about an introduction. What do you introduce? Your name. Introduce your partner's name. Anyways, moving on. So I'm going to talk now about an essay itself, and then I'm going to come back to that paragraph so that we can use it as an example for building an essay. So I'm looking now at slide 25, and slide 25 is basically a general introduction to what an essay is. So I start with the question, what is an essay? So an essay essentially, and I'm hoping that you can remember this, I know you're very busy and you have lots of subjects to study, so generally speaking, an essay is 5 paragraphs. Now what I want to do is to discuss each of the paragraphs separately. Essentially we're creating a structure. You can do this, it doesn't really matter about the language, but in this case we're using English, so this means that we are going to start with details for each of the paragraphs. So paragraph 1 is a general introduction paragraph. Now in that paragraph you do give details. These details become your topics for the next 3 paragraphs. So your detail 1 paragraph, then you're going to give 3 more details about that one. So if, for example, we were talking about ice creams, then you would talk about 3 different flavors. In detail 2, okay, so remember that's from our introduction, we're taking the detail 2, and we're now going to create a paragraph about detail 2 as the topic, which means we need to give 3 further details about detail 2. So you can see that it becomes a bit more complex. And paragraph 4, of course, is about detail 3. But again, in this case, we're now giving a whole paragraph about detail 3, which means your detail needs to have, enough information for you to build a whole paragraph about it. And it also means that you should provide 3 more details about that particular detail. So don't get too worried about it, because I'm going to give you some examples. So this is, again, I want to talk about the conclusion paragraph, because this is 20% of the essay. Remember, if you're missing that, you're missing 20% of your marks. So don't forget your conclusion paragraph. I know it can be difficult, but take your time, do a good job, get the marks. Anyways, I've given you an example of a hamburger here to try to provide a picture image of how you build an essay. So we start with an introduction, which is going to provide the base of what we're going to build on top of it. Then we're going to give some details that can be tomato, you can make a sandwich if you prefer. You don't like hamburgers as sandwiches, you can create something else. This is just an example. So we're looking at the bun, the bread, is similar, but it's not the same. Okay, so remember, your synonyms are really, really important. Then you can choose what you want to put between the bread, or if you want a bop burger, we can make it rice. It doesn't matter. The point is, the picture image is how we build an essay. So, moving on. I'm now moving on to slide 26. So, in slide 26, I'm using this paragraph as an example. This isn't really a good subject to build a big essay off of, but it can provide you with the ideas, okay? And that's what I'm going for here. So this is just an example of how we can build an essay. So if we take a look at this paragraph, my first question to you is, what is the general topic of this paragraph? And I'm hoping you're going to say, the perfect ice cream sundae, or ice cream sundaes. I mean, that's your general topic. Ice cream sundaes are delicious, something along those lines. So if we take a look at this paragraph, what is detail 1? And if you forget, look for your transition word. Good. So I'm hoping you said ice cream flavors. Now I'm also using, so you can click, each click will give you the answer. I've also color coded it so that we're going to use these colors so that hopefully you can see the essay format a little bit more clearly. So what about detail 2? So remember, again, you can look for your transition word next. So what's detail 2? Good. I'm hoping you said sauces, and remember that in English when we add the ES, we add a syllable, so it's sauce or sauces. What about detail 3? What is detail 3? If you're not sure, look for that transition word. Good. So hopefully you got your detail 3 toppings. So one more time, so essentially this is our general framework. What's the general topic again? The perfect ice cream sundae. So this is our framework. This is how we generally make an essay. So here is our paragraph. And what I'm going to do is I want to show you just an example of, if this was our introduction paragraph, how we would build an essay from this paragraph. So I'm going to take a look now at slide 27 and check to make sure the video is still going, which it is. Yay! Pat myself on the back. Miracle. Slide 27. Here I've given you the most popular ice cream flavors across the United States. But most importantly, I'm looking at what your paragraph 2 topic would be. So essentially, paragraph 2, so I'm looking at my essay. Here's my essay: paragraph, 10 sentence, paragraph, 10 sentence, paragraph, 10 sentences, paragraph, 10 sentences, paragraph, 10 sentences. So there's 50 sentences, okay? Now, what we're going to do is take a look at our paragraph right here. Okay, so this is our introduction paragraph. If I wanted to, this is my introduction paragraph, the perfect ice cream sundae. If I wanted to make the second paragraph, my essay paragraph 2, I need to go back to the introduction and find what detail 1 is. What was detail 1 again? And I'll give you a hint. You can click to get your answer. It was green. And we have a transition word, which means we can take a quick look. So what's the topic of the essay paragraph 2? Ice cream flavors. Good. So this is now our paragraph 2 topic, ice cream flavors. And what we're going to do is we're going to give 3 further details. So we can do this in a variety of ways, but you should decide before you write it. So we can choose maybe 3 different ice cream flavors. So for example, I like shooting star, my mom's an alien, my mother's an alien, and mint chocolate chip. So you could choose 3 distinct flavors. Or we could talk about 3 flavor styles, 3 flavor types, like sour sherbets. You know, if you like lemon lime kind of ice ones, or frozen yogurt flavors, or perhaps you like sweet flavored ice cream or coffee flavored ice creams. Anyways, you have there are different choices for how to choose those details, but you need to decide before you write. Okay, that's a really important step, and I'm going to talk about that later. So hopefully you can see now that your detail 1 from your introduction paragraph becomes the general topic of your paragraph 2 for your essay. So essay paragraph 2 is from the detail 1. Okay, moving on now to slide 28. We're going to take a look here. And looking at my essay still, here's my introduction paragraph still. Now I've written my paragraph 2 topic, so that's my ice cream flavors. So now we have to figure out essay paragraph 3. Where do I get that from? Once again, we return to the introduction paragraph. But detail 1 became our essay paragraph 2, so what detail will become essay paragraph 3? Can you guess? I'm hoping you said that our detailed 2 topic from the first introduction paragraph is the topic now for the essay paragraph 3. So if we take a look at this paragraph, what was detailed 2 again? And if you're not sure, you can look for the transition word, or we can think about what color. Color was purple, and I put a picture here to give you a good hint as well. And I'm hoping you got it. So we got sauces. So because the sauces were our were our detail 2 in our first paragraph, now our detail 2 becomes the whole topic for paragraph 3, which means we now need to think about, what details can we give about sauces? So we can choose again. So I gave some examples. You can choose 3 different types of sauce. So fudge sauce, salted caramel, minty chocolate sauce, raspberry sauce. You know, there's hard sauces. So when you pour it on the ice cream, it becomes hard. You could do strawberry syrup or marshmallow fluff. Marshmallow fluff is like kind of Nutella, but it's marshmallow. So there's a variety of choices that you have, but the most important point is we get that general detail from the first paragraph. So that first paragraph topic becomes a whole paragraph topic. So essay paragraph 3 is detail 2 from the first paragraph. Again, if you're not clear about this, talk to me. Don't be shy. We're moving on now to slide 29. I hope you're doing okay. Remember, if you do get tired, pause the video, go for a walk, stretch. Give yourself a little cracking of your neck, perhaps. Crack your knuckles a little bit. Walk around a bit, get a drink of water, and come back. So moving on now, here are my paragraphs still. This is my essay. Introduction paragraph, paragraph 2, detail 1, paragraph 3, detail 2. What's paragraph 4's topic going to be? Can you guess? Look at the paragraph, you can find the transition words, number 1, and number 2, you can figure out detail 3. So what was detail 3 again? Take a look. What was detail 3? I'm hoping you got my nice, beautiful brown toppings. So the toppings are the things that we can put on top of the ice cream and on top of the sauces. So this now, our third detail, is now our essay paragraph for topic, which means we need 3 further details about the toppings. So once again, you can choose. Would you like to talk perhaps about 3 different toppings? So I gave you some example: blueberries, strawberries, some chopped pineapple to put on top of your ice cream and sauce, or maybe chopped peanuts maybe to put on top. Or you could go for flavors. So you could choose, types of flavors. Maybe you could talk about fruits or different nuts that you'd like to put on top, or the sprinkles, rainbow sprinkles perhaps, that you like to put on top. Anyways, you can see that our essay paragraph for topic comes from the introduction paragraph, because the introduction paragraph, detail 3, is the whole topic for this paragraph. So you can see it's really, really important to plan before you start writing, because if you start writing, maybe your topic isn't big enough, or you don't know enough about the topic to write 10 sentences about it. Anyways, moving on, what's the final paragraph? Really important paragraph again. Oh yeah, the topic for this week. Essay paragraph 5, dun 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 dun, is the conclusion. Now this can be a little bit difficult to write because essentially you're giving very similar information to your first paragraph. But this is a way to show you're finishing. So what I've done here is I've explained what you should have. So once again, you should have a summary of what the topic was. So it should be very similar. What's the general topic? Oh yeah. Ice cream sundaes are great. You can also change the sentence shape. So instead of saying ice cream sundaes are great, you can say I love ice cream sundaes. It's quite difficult to get away from ice cream sundaes. So you may have to repeat a little bit, but try your best to use synonyms. What was detail 1 again? The green one. Oh yeah, ice cream flavors. And what was detail 2 again? The purple one, sauces. And what was detail 3 again from that original paragraph? And if you forget, you can always go back to your 4th paragraph. Oh yes, that's right, toppings. So once again, we talk about our toppings, and as a final thought, you want to finish that beautiful, beautiful essay. It's really important for you to choose a topic you like, as you can see, because you're writing 50 sentences about it, so it's better if it's something you like. So just remember, there are a variety of ways to use your language. Use your synonyms, use different words. Don't use the same word more than twice. Change the order if you want to. That's a really, really simple but effective way to make it sound more interesting. And use those adjectives. Your adjectives are so important to giving your message, to giving your meaning and your feelings about that subject. All right, so once again, I'd like to focus a little bit more on the conclusion paragraph. We've got 7 slides to go. You can do it, you can do it. Stick with me. So I'm looking at slide 31 now, the conclusion paragraph. So once again, the conclusion paragraph in our burger picture is the bottom bun. So we've got the same information, but we're giving it in a new way. So again, this is paragraph 5, you have to have it. If you're missing paragraph 5, you're missing 20% of your points. You're restating, you're summarizing what you have spoken about throughout your essay. It is similar to paragraph 1, but it's not the same, and this is the key point. This is how I can see a difference between the levels of my students. It must be there. You have to have a conclusion. You have to have a conclusion sentences in your paragraph. You have to have a conclusion paragraph in your essay. Now, the other important point is don't start new topics in the final paragraph. You can only discuss what you have already talked about. So for example, if I talk about ice cream sundaes, in the conclusion paragraph, I wouldn't say an ice cream sundae is perfect for going to the movies, or it's perfect at a buffet, because that's new information. We don't need to give new information. Don't give new information, because you're creating a new topic, and we don't want a new topic at the end of the essay. If you want to introduce topics, put it in the essay. So, moving on to slide 32, again, I can't say this enough. Clear self-expression means you need to understand the basic building block of a paragraph. So, once again, do not write paragraphs. Do not write questions and answers. If you are unsure, review paragraph structure, and if you're still not clear, or you would prefer to just speak to me directly, or your class captains, please do so, but do it now. Don't wait, okay? Again, please, I'm asking you for this week, yay, to write an essay. So I'm going to give you some choices for questions in a minute. I've chosen questions that are much more in-depth, and I think that in your teacher interviews for you qualifying for a job, I think these are possible questions that you will be asked. So remember, once you finish writing the essay, please write your email at the bottom of the essay so I have a way to contact you if there are any issues with your essay. So I'm moving on to slide 33 now. So this is your question options. These are your question options for the topic, your essay topic. So your week 12, don't forget your conclusion paragraphs. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a second. But what I'd like you to do is choose one of the following to write about. Now, the reason why I've chosen these questions also is because they provide you with a tense, okay? So remember that we want to be using the tense that matches our meaning, okay? It's really important. So number one, write about what makes you a good teacher, usually. So you could talk about perhaps experiences that you've had, or your personality, or what you think. And you all have good potential to be good teachers. So decide what are positive things about you that you feel, and maybe other people, maybe your mom, your dad, your grandma and grandpa, maybe your family thinks also that are really positive things about you. Maybe you have a good attitude. Anyways, choose. And I suggest very strongly that you brainstorm before you start writing, because you need to have good topics. What do you like about yourself? Talk about those things. Number two, but remember we're using present tense for number two. Number two, write about a favorite teacher from elementary, middle, or high school. So it means choose one teacher from one of those schools. And why did you like them? So remember, in this case, because you're talking about a time period in your life which has ended, elementary school is over, middle school is over, high school is over, then we would use past tense for most of the essay. Why did you like that teacher? So you would choose aspects of the teacher. Again, it could be their personality, it could be how they look perhaps, it could be the way that they taught you, or the subject they were teaching. There are so many different ways to talk about these things, which again is why it's important for you to brainstorm first. Organize your essay first. Number three. So number two, again, is past tense, most of it. Number three, write about what you will do in the future to make yourself a better teacher. So essentially what I was, what the aim is when people interview about these types of questions is to, you want teachers who are trying to improve themselves. So what are you doing to make yourself a better person or a better teacher? So it could be that you're taking courses. It could be that you're doing exercise to be healthier. It could be that you're trying to gain experiences. You're volunteering. Voluntary work is excellent. If you're doing any volunteer work, or if you're teaching any classes now, if you're teaching any students, what do you do? Who do you teach? So we're talking about the future, in the future, something that you will be doing. Your plans is what we're looking for, ways to help make yourself a better person and a better teacher, because that's part of being a teacher is who you are as a person. Number 4 is to talk about your winter vacation. Now, these are quite in-depth questions for the most part, and many of you probably don't like English that much, which I understand. So I gave this as a soft option. Winter vacation plans, you know, now with Corona, you have to adapt what you're going to do for winter vacation. So perhaps, and remember that part of this is for you to talk about things that are interesting. So if your plan is basically to stay home and sleep all day, that's maybe not the most interesting subject. So try to choose things that are interesting for you and for me, or whomever it would be that you would be presenting to or writing to. So what are you going to do for your winter vacation? Make some plans, think about it, brainstorm. If there's not enough to talk about, if you're not interested in it, choose another topic. Number 5 is to write about how you have improved as a person throughout your life. So in this case, in number 4, we're looking for the am going to, your plans, okay? But the idea is that you make the plan now, and you'll continue to do that in the future. So it's present, continuous. Number 5 is talking about the past and now, but also maybe continuing into the future. So it has a more open aspect. So how you have improved as a person throughout your life. So learning experiences may be things that were difficult for you, but that taught you how to be a better person, which will influence you to help future students. So this is what we're looking for. Anyways, which of those questions do you like? If you find them, notice none of them are questions. So we don't want questions put into the essay itself. What I'd like you to do, though, is to think about who you are and how you will be a good teacher, essentially. Moving on to slide 34, this is really, really, really important. I can't say it enough. I really recommend that you brainstorm and organize your ideas before you write. Every student has to sit down and think about these things, but if you just start writing, it's much, much, much more difficult. So I really recommend that you brainstorm and organize your ideas before you start writing. So just do very, very quickly, jot down some ideas. You can do it in English or Korean, it doesn't matter. But you're probably better off doing it in English because at least you can get some vocabulary words in there that you can, and you can check for synonyms and antonyms before you get started. So I really, really recommend, because essays are much more complex, it's important to start with the brainstorm, organize the ideas, and to get 3 big details so that in each of those groups you can choose 3 subcategories for those details to develop. So I'm hoping that that's clear enough for you. Now, just as a gentle reminder, please, please, please don't forget to use transition words. You don't have to use transition words, in 3 in each paragraph, but you should definitely at least be using 1 per detailed paragraph and 1 for your conclusion paragraph, just to show that you are clearly, in your mind, understanding you're moving to the next subject, okay? But of course, don't use first, second, and third. So I've given you some transition words here. Again, if you don't want to use these, you don't have to, but these are just examples to show you're moving, you're transitioning, you're changing. So what I'd like you to do now for your final assignment is to write an essay. I would like you to choose one of the questions that I've given you and to remember to use all the rules that we've studied, okay, all the structure rules. Use your transition words, use synonyms and antonyms. Do not repeat words. You can repeat a word maybe two times. I would accept it twice. After that, it starts to get boring. Use lots of fantastic adjectives. Don't forget your articles. And moving on to slide 37, you're right at the end. Yay, you've done a fantastic job. And I think I made it too, so I still have my hair. I haven't pulled it out. Anyways, so again, here are your choices. Choose one of those questions. If you really don't like these, I would consider you choosing your own topic, but if you want to choose your own topic, you need to talk to me first. So please choose one of the questions that you like. That's really important, that you think is interesting, and brainstorm. See if you've got enough to talk about that's going to give you 50 sentences of writing. And remember, don't think about the essay as 50 sentences. What you need to do is think about the topic, 3 details, and 3 details for each of those topics. And then you can start to structure the essay. And it's not as hard if you think about it in 2 sentences, 2 sentences, 2 sentences. It's much easier if you break it into pieces than if you try to do the whole thing at once. You know, it's the same thing. If you sit down to eat, you know, a sandwich or a burger, you don't try to put the whole thing in your mouth. You have to bite, 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 bite. And that's essentially what we're doing, is we're trying. I guess I'm hungry. I haven't eaten lunch. Anyways, that's it. We've moved on to slide 38. This is the final slide. Very good job again. Well done. So your week 12 assignment is to write an essay about the topic you chose. Remember that an essay is 5 paragraphs. If you're confused about paragraphs, talk to me. Talk to somebody, please, now. You should submit this before Sunday, November 15th at 12 a.m. If you are late handing it in, you are absent. Again, remember that you will have, you know, a little bit taken off if you're doing the things I've been asking you repeatedly not to do. So please be very careful. If you have any questions at all, don't be shy. Send me an email or give me a shout. Call me on my office line. Email is probably the best though, or send me a message maybe. And have a wonderful week. Goodbye.